You want to say something? So today we're starting with chapter 4 of Srimad Bhagavatam, and we have a special guest who is going to join us.
Questions by the sages. Questions by the sages.
Yes, questions by the sages.
And do you
remember what chapter 2 is? Chapter 2?
No. Questions.
Look who's there.
And divine service.
Divinity.
Divine service.
Wow. And chapter 3
Chapter 3
is Krishna is the source. Is the source of all incarnations. Krishna is the source of all incarnations. So Jay is just starting with questions by the sages. Today we have a very special guest who is joining us.
I want my sword.
You can have your sword later. Right now we're talking, right? So we're going to start with chapter 4, the appearance of Sri Narada. The appearance of Sri Narada. So we're getting the appearance
of Sri Narada.
Yes. So we're gonna start with Om Namo Bhagavate.
No, say Om first.
Okay.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
First say Om.
Om.
First say Om Bhagavate.
Namo
Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Namo Shivaya.
Yes, tomorrow is Shivratri. Okay, so
you can also chant one prayer to Lord Shiva because it's Shivratri tomorrow.
Yes. You want to say? Let's start with Om. Okay. Can you do it? Om. Say. No, sit nicely. Fold your hands. You're feeling shy? Okay, I'll say it first and then you can repeat after me. Om Triambakam.
Camera a little lower so we can see him.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Right.
Or is that too low? Wait 1 second. It went a little
That's
too
perfect.
Oh, it's falling.
Yeah, sorry.
Here, I'll just put it like this. That should work.
That's perfect.
Okay? So, Jay, Om Triambakam
Yadamahesh Sugandhim Pushtivarnam
Urva
Yukamabandhanam
Mrityu.
Muchiyamavado.
Thank you. Good job. Can you do that without moving around?
Happy Shivratri to everyone. Jay, you want to say Happy Shivratri? Tomorrow.
Okay, can you say Happy Shivratri?
Happy Shivratri.
You know what is Shivratri? Okay, we'll try to do a class for Shivratri if we can, but
What's Shivratri?
Shivratri is a very special day. It's Lord Shiva's favorite day. Okay, so we're going to start with the appearance of Sri Narada. And for any of those who are interested in the mind maps, I went ahead and already shared those on my story. So the full Canto 1 mind map is already on my story, as well as the first section, which is Narada and Vyas, is already shared on my story.
Okay.
So we're gonna start with reading just a couple of verses, and then we will start with some questions. Any of you who have questions, please go ahead and start sending those questions in. You can also ask questions, but not yet. So start thinking of your questions when we're ready for the questions.
I need questions because
What's his question?
What's your question?
Mama, my question is that I want money for I can eat.
So ask his question.
Okay.
Can you send money for Jay's ice cream?
Yeah.
Jay has a question.
Yeah, that's Jay's question every time now because he asked
That's
it the
good.
very first time, so now he has this.
Good question. The best question. Say nice and say, can you send money so I can buy ice cream?
I have some questions.
No, he wants to hold the money. So whenever he finds like a quarter or a nickel or something, he thinks he can take that and buy some ice cream.
Oh.
Oh, on hearing Sutta Goswami speak thus, Shonaka Muni, who was the elderly learned leader of all the rishis, engaged in that prolonged sacrificial ceremony, congratulated Sutta Goswami by addressing him as follows. Shonaka said, O Sutta Goswami, you are the most fortunate and respected of all those who can speak and recite. Please relate to us the pious message of Srimad Bhagavatam, which was spoken by the great and powerful sage Shukadev Goswami. In what period and in what place was this first begun, and why was this taken up? From where did Krishna, Dvaipayana Vyas, the great sage, get the inspiration to complete this literature? So just to recap, we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, and we are on chapter 4 of Canto 1. And so far what has happened is they began with the first chapter, which is questions by the sages. And in the first chapter, all the assembled sages at the time in Naimisharanya, in the forest of Naimisharanya, they started to begin to ask questions, and they put Sutta Goswami in the center of all of them and started to ask him, and said he's the only one who is present there and who is qualified to answer such questions. So he was the one who was directly asked these questions. And then in chapter 2, Sutta Goswami began to respond to these questions. And then in chapter 3, he explained all about Krishna's 22, including Kalki. So 21 so far, and then the 22nd, which is Kalki, which will be coming at some point in the future. 22 scheduled avatars were mentioned in chapter 3, which is Krishna is the source of all incarnations. And now again, they are beginning to ask. Shonaka Rishi is asking questions from Sutta Goswami. So we're just going to go over a few of the mind maps.
Can you show me what Srimad Bhagavatam looks like? The book?
Yes.
For the viewers?
So the book that I have is this copy right here.
Where can we get that in America? Where do they order it? Or
You can order it, I believe, from any local ISKCON temple. You can order the whole set of Srimad Bhagavatam. You can order it from BBT. I think you can also order on Amazon. Some libraries in America also may carry some books, but I'm not sure how many of them do. Otherwise, you can always download the Pocket Vedas app, and you can also go online and read from, I think it's just if you search Srimad Bhagavatam, you can find somewhere where you can read off of right there. But the easier way to have is if you have the Pocket Vedas app. That's usually much easier.
okay, I have another question. At the end, I can ask, but I wonder how old is the baby?
Jay,
And how do you
can you sit
feel
up?
calm?
Do you know who is that? Who's asking you the question?
Maybe later you can answer.
How old
How
are
old
you?
is Jay?
I'm 2 days old.
He's 2 years old.
2?
You're-
Yeah.
He's feeling extra shy today.
That's okay. That's okay. That's okay.
Can you answer the question again? How old are you?
I'm 2 years old.
With your hand out of your mouth.
Oh.
They can't hear you.
Very nice.
Okay, they heard you.
Very good job.
And Jay is gonna fold his hands, and he's gonna repeat after me. Chapter 4.
Chapter 4.
The appearance of
Of
Sri Narada.
Kinarta.
And do you remember what is chapter 2?
Yeah.
What is chapter 2?
Chapter 2 is 1.
Chapter 2 is divinity
Divine,
and divine
divine service.
service. Yes. And chapter 3?
Very good job.
Chapter 3 is Krishna
Krishna,
is the source
source
of all incarnations.
of all incarnations.
Krishna
Krishna,
is the source
source
of all incarnations.
of all incarnations.
You can do like this so you remember. You can do Krishna
Krishna,
is the source
source
of all incarnations.
of all incarnations.
Can you make a flute? Let me help you. It's hard to make it on someone else. So this is what you're gonna do. You're trying to make this and put your hand like this, and then put your hand like this. Even if you just make it with one hand, the flute. So look, like this. Put this on like this, Jay, on your mouth. Krishna
Krishna,
is the source
source
of all incarnations. Of all incarnations. Okay? And then we're gonna, the chapter 4 is appearance of Sri Narada. So we always show him with his veena. You know, he's playing his veena. So you can just act like you're playing the veena. I'll show you what the veena looks like later.
The winner in here.
No, that's a guitar, but it's similar to a veena. Okay. So we're going to continue reading a few more verses, and then I'm going to share some mind maps with everyone. His Vyasadev's son was a great devotee and equibalanced monist whose mind was always concentrated in monism. He was transcendental to mundane activities, but being unexposed, he appeared like an ignorant person. So what is monism? Monism basically means when you don't speak more than needed, or you take I believe, the vow of just not speaking. So that is what he believed in. He didn't want to even be born into the material world.
Wow.
Sukadev Goswami. So when he was born, he ran away from home immediately after he was born. He didn't want to partake in speaking to anyone or anything. He just wanted to be separated from that situation of even being born. The thought of being born was so heavy for him. Like he could not understand how he would, cope with that. Imagine.
Right.
And here we celebrate birth and we celebrate our birthdays, and here there's a personality who was so afraid of being born, he stayed in his mother's womb for 16 years. While Srila Vyasadeva was following his son, beautiful young damsels who were bathing naked covered their bodies with cloth. Although Srila Vyasadeva himself was not naked, but they had not done so when his son had first passed. So his son, he was just born, and he was just running away, and his father Vyasadeva was following him. The sage inquired about this, so he asked those young girls that why they didn't cover themselves when they saw his son, but when he passed by, why did they cover? So they replied, his son was purified, and when looking at them made no distinction between male and female, but the sage made such distinctions. So he just saw them as humans. He didn't see if it was a male or a female or who that was. He just saw like there's a person there, and he just kept going on. How was he, Srila Sukadev, the son of Vyas, recognized by the citizens when he entered the city of Hastinapur, now Delhi, after wandering in the provinces of Kuru and Jangla, appearing like a madman, dumb and retarded? How did it so happen that King Pariksha met this sage? So these are all the questions that Shonaka Rishi is asking right now from Sutta Goswami, making it possible for this great transcendental essence of the Vedas, Bhagavatam, to be sung to him. So how did this happen? They're basically trying to figure out that how did Sukadev Goswami go from being born and running to actually meeting with Parikshit Maharaj, and how did they come upon and start reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which Sukadev Goswami heard while he was in the womb when Vyasadeva was reciting it. I can't hear you, Mommy.
Yes, now can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. So Sukadev Goswami was accustomed to stay at the door of the householder only long enough for a cow to be milked, and he did this just to sanctify the residence. Do you have any questions?
Yeah.
No, not from what I'm reading. From what I'm reading. If you have any questions, then let me know, okay?
I like this.
Yes. What is your question?
I need money.
Okay.
I need
That's not the question.
ice cream.
Okay. It is said that Maharaj Parikshit is the great first-class devotee of the Lord, and that his birth and activities are wonderful. Please tell us about him. So now that we're getting into more and more questions, now like it's starting to become more and more interesting, like what they're asking, what is happening. All of these parts are becoming more and more interesting. So I'm just gonna really quick we're gonna go over the mind map of the full Srimad Bhagavatam first, And then we're going to go into the breakdown of the 10
Wow.
subjects.
That's amazing.
So over
I'd love
here,
to see the manga.
over here we have Srimad Bhagavatam in the middle.
Yes.
And then we have 10 subjects, 12 cantos,
Yes.
18,000 verses,
Okay.
335 chapters,
Okay.
and 55 subtopics.
Oh, okay.
So the subtopics are what we have been learning, and we are going to continue learning, which is, these are the subtopics right here that we can see.
Right.
So Canto 1 has 19 chapters. The first section has 6 chapters, 1 to 6, Narada and Vyas. And the second section is Krishna in Hastinapur and Dwarka, which is chapters 7 to 11. And the third section is Parikshit born, Pandavas renounced, chapters 12 to 15. And the last section is called Parikshit, chapters 16 to 19. So these are the first 4 subtopics from the 55 subtopics throughout the Srimad Bhagavatam. So every canto will be broken down in those subtopics. That way you can kind of, the goal is to remember the essence, and then, you know, kind of like, almost like as if you have your own mind map to knowing where what section is. So that's why it's called a mind map. So you remember in a way, oh, where was this part? And then you kind of like open up the boxes in your brain and remember that, oh, these were the sections in the first canto or the second canto. And then that's how slowly as you memorize just these subtopics, you will be more and more familiar with studying the Srimad Bhagavatam.
Right.
So you can start with learning this and then slowly go deeper and deeper and deeper and keep studying more and more.
Okay.
So now I'm just gonna go over, and anyone can pull up this 10 subjects. That we have over here. These are the 10 subjects that go on in the Srimad Bhagavatam. So Jay, you're gonna repeat after me, okay? Can you fold your hands and sit next to me? So Sarga, which is creation. Visarga, subcreation. And then Sthanam, maintenance of the planets. And then comes Poshanam. Say Poshanam. Means protection for the devotees. So the example that is given for Poshanam is Jay's favorite story. You know what's your favorite story?
Yeah.
Gajendra. So Sarga, Visarga, Sthana, Poshana. These are the first 4. And then we have Uti, which is action. Manvantara, reign of Manu. Ishanukatha, science of God. Nirodhat, which is annihilation. Mukti, liberation. And Ashraya, complete surrender Samam bonam.
Samambodam.
So these are the 10 10 topics or subjects, 10 subjects of the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is Sarga,
Saga.
Visarga,
Vishaga.
Sthana,
Vistana.
Poshana,
Vosana.
Uti,
Puti.
Manvantara,
Manmanta.
Ishanukatha,
Sanukara.
Nirodhat,
Nyoda.
and then Mukti
Mukti.
and Ashraya.
Asya.
Okay, good job. So slowly, Jay will definitely learn all of this really quick because Jay learns things really quick. He has
Yes.
an amazing memory at his age, and he has a very good tolerance for learning as well. He's very eager to learn, which is very hard.
Wow.
I think a lot of children are not, but Jay is very eager to learn. Right, Jay?
He's very fascinated by learning.
Yes.
He's a baby genius.
Yes. Don't put that in your mouth. He was a great emperor. So now we're talking about Maharaj Parikshit. He was a great emperor and possessed all the opulences of his acquired kingdom. He was so exalted that he was increasing the prestige of the Pandu dynasty. Why did he give up everything to sit down on the bank of the Ganges and fast until death? So from this question, it almost seems as if the rishis who are asking these questions did not even know what had happened and why.
Right.
Like they just basically like heard rumors and they really wanted to know what had happened. They had no idea what happened to Parikshit Maharaj, or that he was cursed, or like why did he kill him. It almost sounds like they're saying that he just decided to fast and then he died because he fasted.
Right.
So he was such a great emperor that all his enemies would come and bow down at his feet and surrender all his wealth for their own benefit. He was full of youth and strength, and he possessed insuperable kingly opulences. I don't know what this word is. Anyways, why did he want to give up everything, including his life? So again, it seems like the same thing where they think he was the one who gave up for some reason. So anyone who is joining right now, we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 4, Canto 1. And we do these classes every couple of days. I'm trying to make it more consistent, but it's difficult with Jay, and my daily schedule can be a little hectic. But if you want to or are interested in watching these videos, please follow me, and you can also watch our live videos on YouTube as well. We have our YouTube channel called Nimai Rathor Vlogs. So if you're interested, you can go and follow, and I'm going to be making a special category on there with all the classes. So later on, you can always go back and watch those in your own time from day one and so on. Those who are devoted to the cause of the personality of Godhead live only for the welfare and development and happiness of others. They do not live for any selfish interest. So even though the Emperor Parikshit was free from all attachment to worldly possessions, how could he give up his mortal body, which was shelter for others? We know that you are expert in the meaning of all subjects except some portions of the Vedas, and thus you can clearly explain the answers to all the questions we have just put to you. Sutta Goswami said, when the second millennium overlapped the third, the great sage Vyasadeva was born to Parashar, to Parashara in the womb of Satyavati, the daughter of Vasu. Once upon a time, he, Vyasadeva, as the sun rose, took his morning ablution in the waters of Saraswati and sat alone to concentrate. So now we're going to hear about how Srimad Bhagavatam was written and how Narada Muni came to Vyasadeva and influenced him or motivated him to write Srimad Bhagavatam. And this is why the Srimad Bhagavatam was made, was because of how Vyasadeva was feeling after he wrote all the Vedas there are. This was the very last, one of the last Vedas that he wrote, and why he wrote it is all going to be explained. So this first canto basically is setting the scene of the full Srimad Bhagavatam. It is really the introduction and explaining all the main characters like Sutta Goswami, Sukadeva Goswami, and then Vyasadeva, of course, the author of the books, and also Parikshit Maharaj. So these are the four people which will continuously come up. One is Sutta Goswami, who is the final, you could say, author, or the final person who wrote all the books. And then, not wrote all the books, final person who spoke the Srimad Bhagavatam to all the sages in Naimisharanya. And then before that, Sukadeva Goswami, who heard it from Vyasadeva, spoke it to Parikshit Maharaj, and of course Parikshit Maharaj. So these are the four main characters that you will see continuously in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Sutta Goswami, Sukadeva Goswami, Vedvyas, and Parikshit Maharaj. And then Narada Muni, of course, he comes everywhere. He's part of every Leela to make it even more enthusiastic and, give his input somewhere or the other. The great sage Vyasadeva saw anomalies in the duties of the millennium. This happens on the earth in different ages due to unseen forces in the course of time. The great sage, who was fully equipped in knowledge, could see, through his transcendental vision, the deterioration of everything material due to the influence of the age. He could also see that the faithless people in general would be reduced in the duration of life and would be impacted due to lack of goodness. Thus he contemplated for the welfare of the men in all statures and orders of life. So really he began to become worried about all of us who are now in this material world, who don't know how to regulate and be, just be good humans. So he was very much worried, and that is how this whole Srimad Bhagavatam started. If anyone has any questions, please send your questions in, and we can start answering some of the questions as well as our discussion goes on.
So I just had one question, and that was that Sutta Goswami and the sages of Naimisharanya, is it what you're saying is that they just heard that this event happened and they had questions about that? Is that how it went about? And that's why now
So basically, at the beginning of the Kali Yuga, like right before the Kali Yuga started, all the sages of the sages assembled together. And they all assembled together for 1,000-year
1,000 year.
sacrifice. So they assembled together for 1,000-year sacrifice, and I'm assuming during that sacrifice, I'm sure there's more on exactly this topic. From what I know is during the 1,000-year sacrifice, they all began to speak about, and they wanted to know more because they had not heard much about what had happened, and they wanted to hear about this Srimad Bhagavatam.
Okay. It was like the beginning.
Yes, it was the beginning. Jay was falling asleep sitting. If anyone noticed, his eyes were closing. So he's gonna go lay down. He was just sitting like this and closing his eyes.
It's a good boy.
So that is how it began, and that is how kind of they all decided to do this 1,000-year sacrifice for our welfare, for the welfare of everyone who would be born in Kali Yuga. And also, I mean, I'm assuming also is they thought that if they don't do this and ask these questions, they asked these questions for us so we could learn more about the Srimad Bhagavatam.
Right.
So we'll continue reading. He saw that the sacrifices mentioned in the Vedas were means by which people's occupations would be purified, and to simplify the process, he divided the one Veda into 4 in order to expand them among men. So that's how the 4 Vedas were divided, so that it would be easier for everyone to like follow each one. So there is the Yajur Veda, the Samaveda, and Atharva Veda, and Rig Veda. So those are the 4 Vedas. And then there are the Puranas, which were separate, and the Mahabharata, and the Samhitas. So that's how he not only he divided the Vedas, then the Puranas, the Mahabharata, and the Samhitas were all separate. And the 5th Veda, over here I'm reading in the purport, which are known as the 5th Veda. Okay, so the Puranas, Mahabharata, and the Samhitas are known as the 5th Veda. So that's the 5th category. So basically, the Puranas and the Mahabharata were made from related historical facts which explained the teachings of the 4 Vedas. There is no point in doubting the authority of the Puranas and Mahabharata as parts and parcels of the Vedas. In the Chandogya Upanishad, the Puranas and Mahabharata, generally known as histories, are mentioned in the 5th Veda. According to Srila Jiva Goswami, that is the way of ascertaining the respective values of the revealed scriptures. So in a way, what they're saying is Mahabharata is kind of our history. At the same time, you can say the essence of the teachings of the Vedas. The 4 divisions of the original source of knowledge, the Vedas, were made separately, but the historical facts and authentic stories mentioned in the Puranas are called the 5th Veda. I didn't remember that. After the Vedas were divided into 4 divisions, Phalya Rishi became the professor for Rig Veda. Oh, there was a professor for each different Veda, and Jaimini, the professor for Samveda, and Vaisampanya alone became glorified by the Yajurveda. The Sumanta Muni Angira, who was very devotedly engaged, was entrusted with the Atharva Veda. And my father, Roma Harshana, so this is, I believe, Sutta Goswami speaking, and his father is Roma Harshana, was entrusted with the Puranas and historical records. So if anyone ever wants to know, like, a lot of people wonder how the Vedas and the Puranas and the Upanishads were preserved, or, they're just like, some people question that how is it possible that they lasted so long. So these were the people who were entrusted with the job to um, basically move forward and make sure that these treasures that we have today were kept. So these were the people who were keeping these historical records. All these learned scholars, in their turn, rendered their entrusted Vedas unto their many disciples, and grand disciples, and great grand disciples, and thus the respective branches of the followers of the Vedas came into being. And I believe there are still places that you can visit in India where they still have this disciplic succession, where they're still passing down, and they pass down the Vedas and the Puranas through memory. Like some places they pass it down through memory, so they chant and they teach the children every day. So it's quite amazing actually how these were passed down. Thus the great sage Vyasadeva, who is very kind to the ignorant masses, edited the Vedas so they might be assimilated by less intellectual men. So at this point, he changed and edited so it would be easier for us to understand. That is how, and if you think about it, even in today's date, if you try to read and understand, sometimes even that is difficult to understand. But even that, though he edited, like imagine if it wasn't edited, then how difficult it would be for us to understand. Out of compassion, the great sage thought it wise that this would enable men to achieve the ultimate goal of life. Thus, he compiled the great historical narration called the Mahabharata for women, laborers, and friends of the twice born. O twice born Brahmana, still his mind was not satisfied, although he engaged himself in working for the total welfare of all people. Thus the sage, being dissatisfied at heart, at once began to reflect, because he knew the essence of religion, and he said within himself, I have, under strict disciplinary vows, unpretentiously worshipped the Vedas, the spiritual master, and the altar of sacrifice. I have also abided by the ruling that have shown the import of disciplic succession through the explanation of the Mahabharata, by which even women, Shudras, and others, friends of the twice born, can see the path of religion. I am feeling incomplete, though I am fully equipped with everything required by the Vedas. So this is Vyasadeva saying this, that he is feeling incomplete and he doesn't know why. Why is he feeling incomplete?
Because he didn't glorify the spiritual sacrifice.
This may be because I did not specifically point out the devotional service of the Lord, which is dear both to perfect beings and to the infallible Lord. As mentioned before, Narada reached the cottage of Krishna Dvaipayana Vyas on the banks of the Saraswati just as Vyasadeva was regretting his defects. At the auspicious arrival of Sri Narad, Sri Vyasadeva got up respectfully and worshipped him, giving him veneration equal to that given to Brahmaji, the creator. Wow, and that concludes chapter 4 of Srimad Bhagavatam, the appearance of Sri Narad. So as the story gets interesting, you don't even realize, and you complete the chapter. And I think this chapter had a little less verses than the past ones.
I'm tired.
You're tired? Okay. So we're just gonna do some questions, and then after that we're gonna go to sleep, okay? So I had some questions that were saved from our last class, and I'm just going to pull those up right now. Okay. So during the present pandemic, what advice would you like to share with the youth? Or you can say maybe not pandemic, but the current age and stage of life that everyone is in. What is the current advice that you would like to give them?
So are you going to ask the question, or would you like me to answer?
I'm asking you the question.
Oh, okay, sure. Yeah, that's fine. So during the present situation, what message can we give to the youth?
Yes.
So only one message, and that is to join this live class and understand Srimad Bhagavatam. Because as the youth, if you can understand our scriptures, if you can understand Srimad Bhagavatam, your life will immediately be successful and all difficulties will be removed. You don't even realize it, but there's so much power in reading Srimad Bhagavatam, holding Srimad Bhagavatam. Like Kishori Mataji here, she's telling us that if we just read one word of Srimad Bhagavatam, if we read one line, if we read one page, there's just so much power that enters and removes all obstacles.
Yeah.
So that's my message, one message to the youth today.
Yeah, and like I said in my previous classes, even if you don't have the time, you can always listen. I know a lot of people like listening to audiobooks, so I recommend, if you want, I can send you the link for the audio, or you can just look it up on YouTube. You can find audio in English, in Hindi, and actually in any language that you're looking for. You can find the full translation in audio of the Srimad Bhagavatam for each chapter. So if you don't have time to read, you can just turn it on 10 minutes, 20 minutes of your time and just listen. And if you can't listen, then you can just do what mommy just said, is open the book and just read one word. And if you can just read one word, then maybe that one word will entice you to read one sentence, and maybe that one sentence will push you forward to read one verse a day. Even if you can just read one verse a day, and then slowly you can read 2 verses a day. So you just have to start somewhere. Our second question is how to achieve peace of mind. How to achieve peace of mind.
So I have a point to make, and that is that whose mind is it? Like externally here, I'm in Mayapur, and there's a lot of noise, there's a lot of people, and it's difficult to have that peace. But the mind is yours, and the thoughts are created by you. Mm-hmm. So it's a training process that we train our mind. Bhajahure mana Srinandanandana. Oh, my dear mind, take shelter of Krishna. Just like today we're reading and understanding who is Krishna. We just have to take shelter of Krishna. And then our mind will achieve that peace when we chant Maha Mantra. Mantra means to control the mind.
But
So when you chant a mantra,
what is one thing that someone can add into their day, or someone can add as an activity that they do that can help them have a peaceful life, or a peace, like one thing that they can do right now to change their lifestyle, or something that doesn't take very long, something that if they start today, then they will see an active change. What is one thing that you would recommend that they could start today?
we have a 4-step process. It's very simple, and that's when you chant. And for me, and for everyone around the world, like in Srimad Bhagavatam, it is described that when you chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, the power lasts in thousands of lifetimes. Just by hearing your mind, in the first time, it's like poison, because your mind is so uncontrolled and it tastes very bitter. But slowly, slowly, our disease, the jaundice disease, it will go away and we have some attraction. So the first thing you do is you make a sankalpa. You say, I'm going to chant one time only. Don't need to chant 108 times. I don't need to chant 1,000 times. I'm just going to chant one time purely. And when you chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, you have to think that Krishna is now here. Just like Kishori Mataji, she shared on her story. I don't know if you're following her. A few days ago, she said that Srila Prabhupada was saying that when you chant, it's like Krishna sitting right there. And so
Association.
Taking direct association, that was a life-changing moment for someone like me who's been chanting my whole life. I was thinking, wow. So imagine if Krishna's sitting there.
Yeah, right next to you. How would you treat him? That's how you should treat when you chant the holy names. Imagine if Krishna just appeared and he sits right next to you and he's right there. What would you do in that moment? That's how we have to treat when we chant. And unfortunately, we are unable to still do that. Like, we're unable to give that importance to the holy name. Even after knowing, even after hearing over and over, we're still unable to give the holy name that importance.
So that was an amazing realization. And truly, my life changed when I was able to do that. That was a life-changing moment, and I'm continuing to live that moment. And this happened 20 years ago for me, when I realized that, and I focused and I chanted in that spirit for quite some time. And so peace of mind is when you realize within yourself that you're not the controller. Every single day we're put in situations where we think, how am I going to how is this going to happen? So much stress, so much trouble. And this morning we were, I was going through a decision that I had to make. And then the decision I made, and then I was confused, and then I realized, I'm going to see what Krishna wants. And so you leave it up to the Lord. That's one way. So chant the holy names with focus and surrender everything in your life to Krishna. Say, this is up to you. That's my answer. Mm-hmm. And there's so many questions.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking.
Yeah. If anyone has questions, you can go ahead and comment your questions as well. But you already have 3 questions that were already sent in. So.
Yeah, so far, we haven't gotten it. I'm just checking if we got any questions today. No, I don't think we got any new questions.
All of you can also share this live video in your friends groups. And if you know someone who wants to ask questions and who's feeling depressed, we got many people. They said, "How can I live my
Well,
life? I feel like."
we got a very nice question by Krishna devotee. She never fails to ask really good questions. So
Very intelligent.
her question is, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. As today is Mahashivratri, some people target ISKCON devotees that we insult Lord Shiva by not fasting on this day. So how do we handle this? So first thing I want to say about fasting, if you desire to fast, that is your personal decision you can make, and you can definitely fast for Lord Shiva. There's no harm in fasting. I will be fasting tomorrow. At least I will try to fast tomorrow. And tomorrow we will also be doing a special kirtan for Shivratri. So if anybody wants to join that, you can follow, and I will be sharing it either from my page or my husband's page, which is Nimai Rathor Vlogs on YouTube or Nimai Rathor on Instagram. We will be sharing our kirtan from tomorrow, but there is nothing wrong in fasting for Lord Shiva on Shivratri. And if that is something you want to do, definitely go ahead. And the other question is, if someone criticizes ISKCON about things that certain people say about Lord Shiva, they are highly misguided, because Lord Shiva, they say, so many times Srila Prabhupada says in his classes regarding to demigods. So Lord Shiva is not a demigod. He is a Lord. No other, like, no difference between him and Lord Krishna, because they are both the same and different. So there's no discrimination between the two. So many people do not understand this and are misguided and are unaware, and that's why they make these mistakes of saying things. But even if you speak to many of our Guru Maharajas and Maharajas in ISKCON, they themselves worship Lord Shiva on their altar. So people who say things incorrectly are misguided, and if you speak to someone who knows and understands who Lord Shiva is and who he is to Lord Krishna and what their relationship is, then you can understand better how to answer such questions.
Just like in Brahma Samhita, Lord Brahma, he explains the verse, Shiram Yatha Dadhivigara Vishesha Yoga. It's just like there's milk and yogurt. So, the source of all incarnations, Supreme Personality of Godhead, and another source coming from the Supreme Lord is Lord Shiva. They're non-different. So we worship Lord Shiva, and even here in Mayapur, there will be a big festival for Shivratri tomorrow. We'll be having a big yagya. There's a big festival. So all the devotees, they worship him because he's also the greatest. They say that Lord Shiva is always meditating on who? On the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So there's so many different ways that we must offer great respect.
And in the same way, just like Lord Shiva meditates on Lord Vishnu, if you know Lord Ram, who did Lord Ram worship? Lord Ram worshipped, he was one of the biggest Lord Shiva devotees. So in the same way, they both adore and love each other and worship each other. So they're non-different. And anyone who says that something otherwise, they are misguided or misinformed, and we can just ignore their comments because they don't know what they're talking about. To be honest, very honest, they don't know what they're talking about. So just ignore, and you can always educate yourself by asking more questions. The more questions we ask, imagine the whole Srimad Bhagavatam is here in front of us, starting with questions by the sages. Do we have any more questions? So, we have a question. How and why vegetarianism? Like, why should you be vegetarian, and how and why? And I personally always think about this question a lot, because when you live in the US or any other country other than India, this is one of the most asked questions we get. And I actually sometimes am meditating about the answer, and what makes sense, why we what even if you look at what vegans say is amazing, their reason to why they are vegan or why they're vegetarian and why they choose that lifestyle, and there's a lot for us to learn from there as well. But basically, one thing that I understand is, even if it is not something that is religious, like a lot of people will put a religious tag on being vegetarian or vegan, but actually, the reason why Sanatan Dharma promotes us to be vegetarian or vegan, because it has everything to do with our mind and our state of mind. And everything you eat, it actually brings upon the state of mind that you will be in. Just like certain foods are in the mode of goodness, and certain foods are in the mode of passion, and certain foods are in the mode of ignorance. Just like that, you are what you eat. So in that sense, you can kind of understand the fresher and the more goodness foods you eat, it elevates you to that place. When you eat more fermented foods and stale foods, those foods bring you down to the mode of ignorance. So really, it is all about nourishment of the mind and the soul when you eat something. And obviously, if you're eating meat or something that is dead, that is like you're eating death. Is in one way, that's how I see it, is you're eating death. I can't hear you.
Wow. Yeah, there's just a little bit of sound in my area, so I'm just moving. But I'm still here.
Yeah, so it's like you're eating death. That's how I see it.
Right.
And even it's very difficult for some people to understand that something like eating eggs, why is that not vegetarian? Because they say that eggs are not something that has meat in it, but they don't realize that eggs, if fertilized or if kept in that certain environment, do become chicks or chicken at that point. So it's like, there's anyone who lives in the States, and if they're vegetarian, they will know, and they will have been asked this question multiple times. But I think it's very simple as to, not only have you never eaten it since birth, but then also when you understand the meanings and the feelings behind, like if you love any animals, if you love Krishna, if you love anyone, and if you have kindness in your heart, you would never want to eat any kinds of animals.
Right. So, but there's a lot of people that it's very difficult for them. So I met one of these boys, and he brought up the topic of protein. But actually, we have many more protein sources. We can have chickpeas.
We do have
beans.
many protein sources, and yes, many people's concern is that what do you do for protein, or how do you sustain yourself? And yes, being a vegetarian, you already have a lower chance of having protein in your body. You have lower chances of certain vitamins like B12 and vitamin D, and there are a lot less sources, but there's nuts and things you can substitute for, but there's always ways to increase. And
Eating meat is like eating recycled protein.
and eating meat is like eating recycled protein.
But whatever you eat, always eat grass
Oh.
or like vegetables. So that
Because most animals are herbivores.
all the animals that people can eat, people can
All
eat
animals that people eat, where are they getting their protein from? From plants.
Oh, wow. That's very good.
And you cannot eat the animals who are eating animals.
And we can't eat animals who eat animals. Like, we can't eat tigers
Lion.
or lions
Bear.
or bears. Those are the animals that eat other animals, that are eating protein. But we're eating animals that are eating plants to
Right.
get their protein.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny, actually, now that I think about it. So if we just all
Actually, I
start
think-
eating the plants and the things that all the animals eat, we would be getting the protein that we lack, rather than eating
I think it comes down to like what you said, mind control. Like just deciding that I am not going to do this. It's just like that. It's just putting your mind to it. So imagine
Yeah, and
somebody comes from a family.
now there's so many alternatives. Like, if you crave that taste and flavor, you don't have to eat meat to find a substitute. There are so many options, not only just in America. There's so many soy and various jackfruit and various products which actually contain a lot of protein as well, and are great substitutes for that diet. And actually, eating meat is one of the most harmful things you can do to your organs and to your body, because it takes a lot more time for the body and
But I
the
think-
stomach to digest.
I have the question for the youth, for example. They have to want to. Understand? Like for them, I've had this one. This one boy who he doesn't want to give it up, and his parents are trying to tell him the benefits. So then, what do you tell somebody like that?
If someone doesn't want to, then you can't do anything about that. Just let them be
Okay.
until they reach that level of maturity or realization. You kind of
Right.
have to, like, in some scenarios, you have to let them choose their own path and let them find out their own situation, you know? Maybe he's just not ready or mature enough to understand that. No matter what you tell him, he won't want to understand.
You just have to wait and let him.
That is his path. All of us individually have our own paths. Parents always want the best for their children, but at the end, you
Right.
know, all the parents, all they can do is just try to guide, but at the end, it's the child's path, what they take, and his karma where that leads him.
Right. That's a very, it has to come from within. And like what you were saying, as you were explaining that, and this is how I feel, is that when you hurt, you are what you eat, you know, when you're hurting another living entity. But then the question is, what about plants? Because they also have some kind of living.
No, but that's why we offer our food before we eat it.
But plants do not have some,
But
some kind
but
of.
plants don't have the feeling of pain
Oh, okay.
and consciousness. They don't have the feeling of consciousness. They don't have the feeling of pain.
Okay. Okay. So that's why we don't eat animals, but we eat plants. And we bring that enlightenment.
So we
That's
have
the,
one more question. A Mataji asked me, why do we have to do bhakti with so many rules and regulations? God is pleased with bhav and love. Why there need to be rules for his bhakti, and now she leave bhakti? Okay, so first of all,
Good question.
at a beginning stage, you don't need to follow any rules. Just be a part, or be there, or start. The goal is to start somewhere. And maybe those rules are not for you yet. But I feel like if you need to just if you just want to love Krishna, everyone is in a different stage. We cannot judge anyone's stage of bhakti that they're on. And if they don't want to follow those rules, then they are not motivated enough to follow those rules. So let them be in their stage. And what Srila Prabhupada would do, he would just be like, come join us, come sit, come eat. All you need to do is come join us, come sit, come eat. Then after that, he would be like, come listen to the class. Come join us, sit, dance, eat, and listen to the class. When that person who is joining, sitting, listening, eating, feels like, what more can I do? He himself develops that feeling. Same for if you're trying to become vegetarian. We have to develop that feeling of wanting to do more. You cannot force someone to become a devotee. You cannot force someone that, no, from today, you're going to chant 16 rounds. From today, you're not going to eat any onion and garlic. No, that's not how it works. You have to let them join. Come join, sit, eat. If all you can do is just feed that person prasad, maybe that's all he's meant to do this lifetime. We can't judge anyone. So all we can do is create that inviting atmosphere and keep calling them back. And maybe one day she will want to say, oh, I want to read a book. What book do you recommend? Maybe from reading, then she will feel like, now I want to chant, and so on. But you can't impose someone to follow rules at a beginning stage. And if they are ready to follow those rules, they will automatically want to join and follow.
Okay. So that answered her question very nicely. So, but her question was more like the rules and the regulations.
Well, if she didn't want to follow the rules and regulations, then that wasn't for her to follow.
Right.
And it shouldn't have been imposed on her that she has to follow rules. I feel like that is a very closed mindset. Like when you enter into a temple, it should be an inviting atmosphere where anyone can join, anyone can come, anyone can sit, anyone can learn. It should not be imposed until that person is ready to follow those rules and regulations. Of course, there's rules and regulations. You can't just enter into a temple and start doing whatever you would like to, but you have to be decent and you have to follow the rules of the premises. But at the same time, you cannot expect someone new to immediately become a disciple or a devotee who is strict and following rules and regulations. It takes time. Everyone has to take their own time and their own path to reach that point.
And also, I do want to say that her question is about Bhakti Bhav, right? So her question is, why can't we just do Bhakti Bhav, and why do we have to have rules? So that was also her question. So what is the point, or what is the benefit of having those rules?
So the benefit of having certain rules is it corrects us of making mistakes and making aparadh. So after a certain point, yes, we must follow rules and regulations because, of course, in any place, and we need to follow some kind of rules and regulations to follow Acharya and follow disciplic succession. Mommy, you're frozen. Frozen, okay. Oh, you go?
Yeah.
Okay. So we can end this class here today.
You can continue if you
No,
like, answering the questions.
It's very late, so I'm going to finish this class today. And everyone, please join tomorrow for our Shivratri Kirtan. We will be doing.
And I was thinking I can show you guys the temple because I'm in Mayapur.
Yes, show us.
This is the front of the temple. I'm going to try not to drop my phone.
And that's a very good idea. Don't drop the phone.
And then downstairs, this is the new temple that's coming up. The TOVP temple.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but okay, but thank you, and we'll keep in touch, and then let us know when you join again.
Yeah, and please send me any questions you have. I will be saving them for next class, and hopefully we can have someone join us for next class as well.
Okay, that's very nice. I'd love to see Nimai Rator on the live as well. That would be very nice.
Yeah, maybe next class we'll have him on as well for the questions and answers section.
Yeah, I think that's a really good idea because he has a lot of insight.
I'm actually thinking of adding Nalini Mataji for next session so she can answer some questions, and we can do Hindi also.
Fantastic. That's very good. Fantastic.
And if you want to join also, we can do that as well.
Okay. Yes.
I'll let you know
For
when
sure.
we're doing the next one.
Okay. Perfect.
Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Please follow us if you are interested in classes like this on YouTube, Nimai Rathor Vlogs, and on Kishori Official on Instagram. And Jay wants to say something. Jay, say Hare Krishna to everyone. Say Hare Krishna.
Hi, Krishna.
Say Radhe Radhe Sham.
Radhe, not Radhe, Radhe Sham.
Okay.
Radhe Sham.
Radhe Sham.